Howdy folks, welcome to today's video. This will be the first video on my new channel, and today's topic, we are going to be replacing the fuel rail and injectors in my 2009 Ford Crown Victoria. Now, this particular model is a police interceptor, but it should be the same between all of them. And if you own a 5.4, you know, F-150, Expedition, whatever else they put the 5.4 in, this will be about the same process for you as well. Relatively easy. Not much to it. You're going to need some basic hand tools, channel locks or a regular pair of pliers, some sockets, a wrench, and a screwdriver. Now these ones you may need to get at the auto parts store. That's where I got mine. This is a fuel line disconnect tool. Different sizes. This one was great. Like 25 bucks for the whole thing. Can't beat it. But yeah, this is a very easy process. We're going to walk through it together. Shouldn't take that long. Very simple, so let's get into it. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is come over to your air intake and disconnect this quick disconnect. What you do to do that, push it down and forward, and it should just pop right off. Mine's a little stuck, there it goes. And then you're going to want to take off this hose clamp and pop this out of the way. Now you can take it completely out of the car, or you can just loosen this up and twist it. Whatever you want to do, whatever you like, you know. Alright, so the next step, you're going to want to take off your throttle body. Now, I highly recommend, you can see as I've done here, I've just replaced the intake manifold. That's why I've got it marked already. You may want to mark where each hose and clip and electrical doodabs go. Good idea, definitely take a picture. Always take a picture before you disassemble. That way you don't get any hoses mixed up, cause vacuum leaks, electronics not read correctly, you know, this, that, and the other. So just want to take these off. I've already marked it. I know where everything goes. Disconnect those two little guys there, and over here coming off the purge valve, you're going to notice I've got a soft line running with these little clamps. On yours you will probably have one of these, just like on the air intake. Super easy. Push over, down, pops off. Nothing to it. But I like this. This is easier. Alright, got my hose off. We're going to come over to this side now. On this part, this is your EGR. This attaches to the throttle body. You won't have to take off all these connectors here. What you're going to want to do is disconnect it from the fuel rail pressure sensor. Right here. If I can get it off. And two hands. Nope, never mind. You want to disconnect this electrical connector, and as you can see, it just runs right here up to here, and there is a, you're going to want, well, yeah, you're going to want to take off this bracket, and you can see right there, there is a nut. That nut screws onto this flange and keeps those together. You undo that, you can get it right off. Realized I forgot a hose up here. As you can see right in here, there are two 10mm bolts that hold in this EGR bracket. There's the first one right there, and I've got my socket on. And there's the second one. We're going to go ahead and pop that off, and then we'll unscrew that right there from the EGR. That will be very tight, so definitely spray that down with some PB Blaster, liquid wrench, WD-40, or all of the above. Whatever, man. Alrighty folks, got my EGR bracket off, and I'm in the process of getting this undone now. If you don't have a wrench that is the proper size for that nut, little tech tip, vice grips, man's best friend. You also use a pipe wrench. They will be very tight though. I do highly recommend getting the right size, but if you don't, if you're just working off what you have in your garage, go with vice grips. It will work. You can see it did for me. And it just comes right out. Mine's a little stuck because I've got some tape on there. Off topic from the project at hand, but I needed to address something. Y'all may have noticed me stuttering earlier talking about this tape. Teflon. Name slipped my mind. It's Teflon tape. Definitely a good idea to put some of that on there as you're reassembling this. So if you don't, you can get some exhaust gases coming out, or just vacuum leak. So it's not needed, but if you got it, I would recommend putting it on there. And if you don't have it, I mean, it's like $1.50, $2 at the local hardware store, grocery store. Basically every place in the county sells Teflon tape. Just ask for it. So once you've got all your connectors and everything off, got the EGR undone, there are going to be 5 of these bolts that I believe. There's one there, one there, one there, one there. I don't believe these are 10. If my memory is correct, I believe they are an 8. But I'll go ahead and find out for y'all right quick, just so you're not left in the dark. And it is an 8. It is not a 10. So go ahead and grab you an 8mm. Undo this bolt, that bolt. Where's that other one? That one, and this little guy. This one likes to hide from you. And once you got them 5 bolts out, you just grab her, pick straight up, and there you go. Throttle body's out. I'm gonna keep this thing in a safe place. I'm just kidding. Them things are too expensive to do that with. I like to keep my parts in the back seat where I can find them. Safe and sound. At this point in the replacement, your engine should be looking a little bit like this. Next thing you're going to want to do, you got this bracket right here. You're going to need to take this out. It should be a 15mm bolt, and there's one back here that you cannot see. It is right under the wiring harness, and to get that wiring harness out, it's just a push pin. All you got to do is stick a screwdriver in there, a push pin removal tool, pry bar, and then just pop her out. And I recommend using a ratcheting wrench back here instead of the ratchet. This one you can get out with a ratchet. This one back here you're going to need a ratcheting wrench for, because it is a tight fit, and I ain't kidding you boys. As y'all can hopefully see, I was not kidding about it being a tight fit back here. Oh, and I lost it. Yeah, here's my wrench right here, buried underneath the harness back here. But if you can get something on it, not that bad. And I just broke it loose right then. I can get that off with my fingers now. Throw that over there. So be careful when you're doing these, because it goes right into the plastic intake manifold, and you do not want that to snap. Granted, this is a Crown Vic, and it's probably going to do it on its own anyway at some point, unless you've replaced it. And then there's a possibility of it doing it again. But the torque spec on this, about 7.5 foot-pounds, I believe. 7.5. I think I torqued mine to 10. In regards to my previous statement, this is the bolt that goes on top of that bracket, the one you see there. And this little cute little guy is the one that goes on the back. So you can see the difference in them. Alright, from this point you're basically good to go. What we're going to do now, and you can see when I was taking my intake manifold apart, this was in pretty rough shape. Tried band-aiding it. When I started it up, it was just pissing right out the side. So this is what we're replacing. I got my new part over here. It's on the windshield actually. Probably shouldn't put it there, but it seemed like the best place at the time. Don't worry about it. Now that you're in here, what you're gonna want to do is unplug each fuel injector. And these shouldn't be that difficult to mix up, because you can see they go into the harness. There's only a certain amount of length they can come out, so this one comes out the shortest on this side, probably goes here. This one here, that one there. There's a little button on the side, just pinch it. Should pull right out, just like that. We'll do that 8 times, and then we'll go ahead with the next step. Next thing you're going to want to do is unplug this connector right here for the fuel rail pressure sensor. Now, if you're replacing it, if your new fuel rail comes with one of these, you can use the old one, or you can use the one on the new rail. You can see the guy that I bought mine from, I got it on eBay because Ford dealership wanted almost $400 for this. Got it for $90. It is used, obviously, but you can see the guy just left the old sensor on here. That one's a Bosch. Not sure what the Ford part is. That might be the Ford one. They use a lot of Bosch parts. Yeah, so these are both Bosch. I'm going to hold on to that one. I know that this one works, so I'm going to put this on the new fuel rail. There is 2 bolts here, and they look like 8mm. Take that off, should just pop right out. But what I was saying, if your new to you fuel rail comes with one of those, feel free to put it on there. I mean, all you got to do is take off the connector just like so, pop off this hose, and it'll just go right on. So no problems there. And then we'll get to this guy right now. This is the fuel line that you're going to need these disconnect tools for. What you're going to want to do, it's the same process on the fuel filter as well. You're going to want to pop this guy up, and he just pops off like that. And then you're going to grab your tool. I believe it was the 5/8, it might have been the half. And grab your tool. See those springs here on that side? You're going to want to slide this bad boy over there, pop that in, and then this should, in theory, just come right out. Of course, life ain't always that easy. Okay, it might be the smaller side. My apologies. Actually, it was the 5/8. It was just being really difficult. You can see I've got it popped off now. Like I say, you just clip it over this line, pull it, and then this should just pop right out. And there's your fuel line disconnected. I've got this off. Get my tool back. Put her there for safekeeping. Alright, now from this point, there's literally only one step left. You got 4 10mm bolts. And this whole fuel rail will just pop right out with the injector still attached to it. Almost forgot my EGR bracket. Oh, shit, I dropped it. Alright folks, now that you've made it to this point, in theory, this fuel rail should just pop up with the injector still attached in one piece, because there's a hard line that runs back here that I was talking about breaking. These are all unplugged. Pop right up. Just like that, all 4 injectors come out with it. All 4 injectors come out with it. And snake it around this, all these tubes and whatnot. There you go. Fuel rail's out. Now you may be curious, once you've gotten this far, as to how you get the actual injectors out of the fuel rail. Either way, you're going to have to get the fuel rail out of the way. But to get these injectors out, all you do, it should just pop out like that. Gasket and all. If that gasket comes off in here, like that one did, what you're gonna want to do is just put that gasket back on there. Not hard to do. It stretches. But if you're replacing the injectors and not the fuel rail, just get that out of there. You don't want to get that gasket out of there so you don't have gas spraying all everywhere. Alright, that should do it for this video. Just because, to put everything back together, just reverse the process if you can remember it. Throw it all back together, fire her up. You may have to, it may run rough at first, but it should clear itself up. Computer will tell it what to do, air fuel ratio, blah blah blah. Yeah, so that's gonna do it. If y'all got any other ideas for me, what videos I should make, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm open to anything within reason. I will be doing more videos on this car. Yeah, feel free to subscribe. Let me know what I should do next, and I'll get this all thrown back together with new injectors and that new reel. Alright.